All right, so we're going to do another example. In this example, it says rewrite the following quadratic expression into completing the square form. So it's currently c squared plus 20c minus 40. It is in standard form. We want to rewrite this into completing the square form. And as I pointed out in the last video, we do recognize that completing the square form should look like this, although ours is not going to have this value in front of the parentheses because the value will be 1, because our lead coefficient in this case is 1. Okay, so let's go through the steps of how to rewrite this into completing the square form. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my middle term, my b value, and I'm going to cut that in half. So you have to take 20, cut it in half. Half of 20 is 10. So inside my parentheses, I'm doing this parentheses right here. It's going to be, instead of x, I'm obviously going to use c because that's the variable we're using with this particular problem. C, and we said half of 20 is 10, so that's plus 10. And this is what's going to be squared. Now we have to do that tricky part where we have to figure out what we plug in for this k value. And again, the easiest way to figure out what to plug in for the k value is to actually take that c plus 10 squared and expand it using distributive properties. So I'm going to go off to the side and I'm going to do c plus 10 times c plus 10. And I'm going to do c times c, which gets me c squared. C times positive 10 gets me positive 10c. 10 times c gets me positive 10c. And 10 times 10 gets me positive 100. And then I can combine like terms, and when I do that, I end up with c squared plus 20c plus 100. All right, and again, we want that when we expand this, we should be getting this equation, c squared plus 20c minus 40, and we have a lot of that. We've got c squared, we've got plus 20c. The problem is we have positive 100, and we really want to be at negative 140. So you have to ask yourself, what do we have to combine with this positive 100 to get it all the way down to negative 40? And when I think about it, I think, okay, well, I'm going to have to do 100 take away 140. So my mystery number here is minus 140. So to rewrite this standard quadratic expression into completing the square form, it's going to be c squared, nope, I take that back, let me erase that, not c squared. It's going to be parentheses c plus 10 squared minus 140. And if you aren't certain, if you're like, I think that's right, but I'm not sure, then do the work and actually expand it. So I'm going to do c plus 10 times c plus 10, because that is what c plus 10 squared means, to take that expression and multiply it by itself. And then minus 140. And I'm going to do some math here. I'm going to do c squared. I'm going to get plus 10c. I'm going to get plus 10c. I'm going to get plus 100. I'm going to bring down this minus 140. And I'm going to make sure when I combine all the like terms in this big long expression, I end up back at what I originally started with, which was this, c squared plus 20c minus 40. So let's see if that's what happens. Let's see, well, c squared can come down. There's nothing to combine with that. 10c plus 10c gets me positive 20c. Positive 100 plus a negative 140 gets me to negative 40. And then you can see, oh yeah, so when I actually expand this, I do end up back with what I originally started with, which means it is correct. So for our final answer, it said rewrite the following quadratic expression into completing the square form. So we're going to go from c squared plus 20c minus 40 to c plus 10 squared minus 140. That is the same exact expression in completing the square form.